Football right here in our backyard on Friday night, Florida State, Florida. Let's get it on. Let's conclude the season in the uplifting manner we kind of thought they had a really good chance to achieve after the Clemson loss. And now here we are. Will they pay it off? We said the questions would be answered. That was the topic. That's what I led with right after the loss to Clemson. Wasn't the score, wasn't the yardage, wasn't the game, wasn't the fact that they lost, was all the questions you need answered will be in the next 5 games. 4 of those 5 have ended in lopsided victory for Florida State, and a chance now to cap it off. The coup de grace with a win over Florida, and if it's dominant like the other 4, my goodness gracious, we will be talking about 7, if it happens, in the manner that is entirely possible, which you and I are going to talk about in a minute. But if it happens, we will end the season with a robust 7 rocking chair games. Woo! Woo! That's doing some things a year removed from finishing with a losing record. That's doing some things, to say the least. An understatement. Florida State, another dominant victory on Saturday. Expected it. Then we really expected it when the word came down that obviously Louisiana was going to have a little bit more trouble than they anticipated, in that their starting quarterback could not give it a go. I don't think it would have mattered. I don't think these teams were evenly matched. We talked about that the line of scrimmage would be won by Florida State. And if that's the case, then you're going to win the game, barring bizarre turnovers, special team snafus, things like that. You're going to win the game if you're going to dominate the line of scrimmage. And I would argue that Florida State has a chance to win the line of scrimmage yet again this weekend against the University of Florida. That's where it starts. That's when you get down in the muck, baby. You start talking about what is it that Florida State's going to have to do to get the result that we're all hoping to see. Well, you got to win the line of scrimmage. And I didn't think last year they did. I didn't think they done at all. I thought last year Florida State lost the line of scrimmage, and it was an underrated aspect of the game. I know a lot of people dismissed that game as well. Florida got underneath Florida State's skin and got into their heads. And if Jordan Travis hadn't gotten hurt for, a quarter and a half, then maybe things would have been different. I'm not so sure. I think Florida was more physical across the board last year, and I thought they were better along the lines of scrimmage. The good news is I don't think Florida will be this year. And then the other elements of the game have also gotten better for Florida State. The maturity on the field is on display every weekend. This is a group that handles their business. They are workmanlike. When we talk about why you like this team, it goes above and beyond. You went to school there. You've always rooted for Florida State. It goes above and beyond the W's and L's even. It's that they're a likable bunch because of that workmanlike clock in, clock out mentality. They've put in the effort and the time, and they have made the sacrifices that allow you to warm up to them. Lots of teams win. Florida State went undefeated in 2014 before they got to the college football playoff. Undefeated regular season, and they were not likable. They were not likable. We love them, and we root for them. But we did that in spite of the likability quotient being very small, very small, because they ho-hum their way through every game. Just, I guess we got to try now. And they had a miracle worker at quarterback, and they were able to do that. And, those kinds of things get you wins, plural, but that doesn't mean they're very likable. This group's the opposite of this, man. This group here, they, from day one, since we were out there at spring on into the fall watching these practices, it was annoying even before we had the tangible proof that is this season. It was annoying for us to have to come in here before the games started and say things like, man, this is, you're going to like this team. They work really hard. They're very organized. We had to say it so many times because we didn't have results. We didn't have games on display where you could say, see, this is what we're talking about. They play for each other. They care deeply. They don't give in. They play hard all the time. They don't overlook the small stuff, the details. They're buttoned up. They block for each other out on the perimeter, which they didn't do a year ago or the year before that. They did all of these things. They can handle adversity. They don't wilt in those moments. They fight. They do all those things. Before we could see it play out that way and have the results that we have now, we had to come in and talk an awful lot about well, they seem like they really care. They do practice hard. They are working. There is all, you know what I mean? There are all those things we had to say, but here it's happened now. The so-called proof of concept that everybody clamors for and talks about, it's happened. And so now you're just these are like the cherries on top. This is the result of that. And now you wonder just how high they can soar, how high they can climb, as Mike would say. Just how far can this program go? I do think Ira Schafel makes a great point in his 3-2-1 column on warchant.com. Go check it out if you haven't already. That these years are in and of themselves, right? They're unto themselves, these seasons. And I think that is true more than ever before in the land of college football. It's always been true in the NFL. You know, in the NFL, because it's a salary cap league, you lose people, guys get hurt, stuff like that. Next thing you know, you're missing 2 or 3 people. Season can change. It could be derailed. You lose one defensive tackle, and all of a sudden you're in trouble, right? And so the team that was really good the year before loses that guy, and they're not so good the next year. But that doesn't mean they won't be good the following year. That's why we watch teams go from last place to first place to being great. Like the Rams are awful. They're one of the worst teams in football right now. We won the Super Bowl last year. So the NFL is weird that way, and we always kind of know salary cap leagues will do that to you. College football, generally speaking, you could watch the build-up. You could see a freshman become a sophomore and get bigger and stronger and then become a junior, and now he's more experienced, and he's done all of these things, and we project the next year because Larry Smith was a good athlete when he came to Florida State, but he really didn't know what he was doing. And he wasn't big enough yet. Now Larry's gotten a lot bigger, and he played in some games last year, and he had to wear his lumps, right? Had to deal with that. Now he's better. And now Larry's going to be a junior, and he's a full-time starter, and here we go, right? And so you're kind of like, all right, I could project that we have a lot of guys like Larry coming in next year, and that team's going to be good. Well, those days are maybe going the way of the dodo, because you could have a Biletnikoff Award winner who's a junior and he gets sniped, meaning somebody takes him. Somebody just goes, we got more money than you do. Come on to the West Coast, baby. Roll on out here and play with Caleb. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it happens all the time. So, you have to really appreciate the now, what this team is this year, and the way they play for each other and how hard they play and all the cool things that they do, and it's always on display, and it's great. And then know that that's not necessarily indicative of a performance to come, meaning next year. Not necessarily. Now, I do like the nuts and bolts of the organization. I do like what he's built. I do like what it's built on, what it's rooted in, why it was bought into to begin with, the unwavering way in which he stuck to principles. All of that is a good sign, I think. I think there's going to be a lot more consistency there down the line because it's rooted in something genuine that's been bought in and can be passed on by those that do leave the program, either through graduation or the NFL draft. You're always in this day and age going to have situations where kids decide maybe their future is somewhere else. And because they have that right now to just ride, they can do that. Hey, listen, it stinks when it happens to you. You may lose a guy or two, but you're going to get a guy or two. It's the yin and the yang, right? It's going to yin and yang. It's going to happen. It's going to be a thing where you go, okay, well, we're going to lose this guy. But you know what? Somebody from afar who's at another organization right now that they were excited to have is going to look and say, I like what's going on at Florida State. So you lose one and another one comes on in. How well do you manage that? How well are you able to do that? Can you seduce others in the transfer portal to be a part of what you've built? And I think Mike has shown the answer is a resounding yes, he can. Yes, he can. And we'll continue to watch for those players that they bring in addition to whatever this signing class looks like from the high school ranks.
I'm just sad, though, because I'm hearing that, and those are the offseason questions, and those are pertinent because the offseason
is upon us nearly.
Even though we got a bowl game and 15 practices coming, yeah, it's next week. It's kind of a bummer. You know, there are times, most of the last 5 or 6 seasons, where when you get to Florida week, and notwithstanding the COVID season where we didn't play the Gators, you know, you love your Noles, but you're okay if the season comes to a conclusion. That's the way I felt for a lot of these last 5 years, where, all right, football season's over. Let's flip it on over to hoops, which we can't do now.
Oh, I'll get to it very briefly.
That's not what this is about.
No.
This is about, I'm sad. I saw Troy say that in the chat. It's bittersweet that this season is pretty much done now. And there's urgency for this week, and I can't wait to break this game down and talk about this game because it means more than Florida and Florida State is meant for a long, long time. And it's going to be under the lights the way it was in 2016 here, which is one of my favorite games I've ever been to, just because it was unique. I'm used to this game kicking off at noon or 3:30, not under the lights at Doak. It did 6 years ago. It's going to do so again this week. But there's an injustice about this game being on Thanksgiving week every season in that it doesn't get the due and the build up the way that Miami always does. You get a full 5 days to enjoy it. Well, Thanksgiving week always shortens it by 1 day, and now you're kicking off on a Friday. So there is a real urgency this week for this final game of the regular season. But I would love to watch this football team play 5 more games, 6 more games. They're just so likable across the board.
They are, and listen, it's now kind of who they are. It's the personality of this team that is so likable. You got a lot of leaders on this team, guys that really make it impossible to ignore the strides and both on and off the field that the program has made. And I think now what you do, Tom, I think what you're referencing, and this is interesting, I think you end up wanting it for them more than you want it for you. And that is very rare. That is something to talk about. Like when you want it for the guys. Now, look, we're grown-ups. I'm an old man. So, of course, I always want the kids to do well. I was 18 once, 19 once. I know what that's like. And so I'm always rooting for the kids. But some teams, you really want it for them. You just, because they've earned your trust. They've laid it on the line. They've cared the way that you care about your university. And they've suffered some setbacks and hung in there, chin up, and fought back. And now you want them to get their just due. And when you find yourself wanting it for them, that's a unique thing that you have to appreciate it. We all want our team to win. Professional football, professional basketball, professional baseball, college, you name it, whomever it is you root for, individual sports, team sports, pro, college, we all want our teams to win. But admittedly, year to year, some pull at your heartstrings a little more than others based on the way they play, what they've gone through, how they've sacrificed, all of it, and come out the other side.
Yeah, I agree across the board. It's the ultimate compliment that you can give to a football team, is that you like them to that level, that their success is more than the joy you get. Look, we're alum, and so we care very much when Florida State wins. It puts the pep in the step on a Sunday and then on into a little victory Monday on this program. And we're citizens of the fine city of Tallahassee and Leon County.
So good for the restaurants and bars and all the places around town, the buzz that's created, of course. Yes.
It's good for business. It was at the old ESPN station. It is at Warchant. But this year, really, this is about selflessness this year. It's about the faith being rewarded for so many different parties. It starts with the players, because a lot of these guys like a Pokey Wilson or a Leonard Warner, they've seen the whole thing. They've been here for the whole thing.
Leonard Warner was here in Bobby's final season.
Yeah, he was. He's seen some things now. Yeah. I think Leonard Warner was wearing the old jerseys. Yeah. I think he was wearing the old jerseys before the switch. So I'm happy for those guys. I'm happy for the players that, took a leap of faith, either saying yes out of high school or through the transfer portal. But I'm also happy for this fan base. We have been beleaguered.
Yeah, sure.
Legitimately beleaguered. And so for all of you that are on the chat or the podcast listeners or the listeners at this station or the previous one, we've had to go on a ride together. And this has been a year of your faith and steadfastness with this program being rewarded, because here it is, the proof of concept that you alluded to. Now let's go pay it off on Friday night and finish this thing. And if you see on Warchant TV, Coach Norvell's Monday interview, it's a little bit different. It's not at the dais. It's a post-practice interview because of the short week. Razor sharp focus out of Mike Norvell. He is locked the hell in. He's ready to go.
Well, and I think he gets it. He always has. One of the things that we talk about with this football team, this football program, and this football staff, this coaching staff, is the fact that Mike doesn't shirk responsibility. He doesn't avoid taking responsibility when he needs to. And I'm talking about the good and the bad. But he's also never been shy about admitting some games mean more than others. It's refreshing to have a coach who says that. It's refreshing to have a coach admit to you that he cares deeply about beating Miami more than he does, say, Louisiana. It does mean more. It means more to beat Florida than it does to beat Syracuse. It just does. It's nice along the way to garner those wins, but these games mean more.
Yeah, there are times you will roll your eyes because of the cliches that the coaches kick out there.
Yeah.
But one he said, and initially my instinct was to, oh God, because every coach says stuff like this. These are the ones you'll remember forever. That is true. That is true in a rivalry game. If you cite 5 years from now the 2022 Florida game, our minds will be able to immediately pull information from and say, oh my God, that's right. Like, for example, 2014. What do you think of with the 2014 game here? Terrence Smith, hobbling on one leg.
One leg.
It took 29 seconds for him to catch the ball and then run it all the way down the field and score the touchdown. I don't know if that's literally true, but it felt that way as we were watching together above in the stands. 2016, patient, then explosive, and a touchdown for the Noles. That's the call for Dalvin Cook's touchdown run. This is that kind of game. And this is one where you've got an opportunity to put it on them. Legitimately, you've got an opportunity to do. I don't know if it's going to be as comprehensive as Miami was. That's going to be a tough thing to replicate. But there is a path now, and it has nothing to do with the Vandy performance. Just in general, what Florida is good at and not good at this whole season. They're 6-5 for a reason.
There's an examination for us to get to, and we will, and it will be fun. I noticed it in the chat. I wanted to get to it today, too, because I think it's a hell of an accomplishment. I really respect Willie Simmons. I want to give credit to FAMU. We talk about the community being enriched and the energy and the buzz that is created when these programs are succeeding in our city, and we both loved how Florida is home. And Florida A&M started the season 0-2 and finished 9-2. That is a whole bunch of what for from FAMU as well, and then they're snubbed from the playoffs, which is unfortunate. And obviously I can imagine the disappointment that Coach Simmons feels, but congratulations to Florida A&M. Sincerely, when you start 0-2, I mean, a lot can go wrong in a hurry, and to keep that together. We're talking about resiliency. We're talking about these concepts, these things that you want to see in a team.
13-6 are the Noles since that start last year, 0-4, when Coach Norvell had a choice. Do I switch up the message? Do I push some different buttons? Or do I preach the same thing? And we just get back to work. 13-6 since that 0-4 start to last year.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's no doubt they've turned a corner. Florida State has turned the corner big time. And now it just becomes about where we set the bar and the expectations. And we talk about building on successes and getting to a certain place where then the next stated goal is elevated. I mean, obviously, Tom, we talked last year about, can we just have a non-losing season? I mean, sweet Jesus, is it too much to ask to have a season where you go to any bowl, the sorriest bowl, the bowl that's played on December 2nd? Hey, we're in a bowl. It's hot as Hades out here. It's so early in the postseason.
Even if we're like the halftime show for the Army-Navy game.
Yeah,
can we just play a little bit more?
Come out and wave that we had a winning season.
And you know what happened this weekend? It ends up we finished second in the Atlantic.
I know.
What the hell?
Oh, buddy, I saw where you and I both got Mac Brown. We got Mac Brown to get. Mac Brown will do that to a brother. He will sabotage the greatest of days.
Man, so you put that result next to only a 3-point victory over the University of Miami. And what does that tell you? Some people are called the GOAT because they're great. And some people are just goats.
I saw that you live betted it, and I felt bad for you. I'm like, oh, he got Mac Brown.
I did.
They were up 17-0.
I thought, and they had an empty possession up 17-0. No points going for it on fourth down with an uninspired play call again on a 4th and short. But I thought perhaps in this instance, Drake May is so good that he can overcome the fraudulence. Vince Young was good enough to do that.
May is not, apparently.
Not
they
yet.
Didn't score another point the rest of the game, Tom. Not another point.
You know, it's totally okay with me that I lost that bet because I think I'm a bigger winner when the fraud does what he does.
Goats are there, baby.
And now, you know, if more of the skyscrapers came crumbling with the top 5 teams, you know, their seasons that they had erected. It was very, very close for TCU. Very, very close for Michigan.
Oh, my God. It was crazy to watch. Well, hell, if it was 33-30 in the fourth quarter, Ohio State, Maryland.
If those games had finished, yes, correct. If those games had finished the way that they were looking for a long period of time, you know, we could be staring the Orange Bowl in the face right now because Clemson would be
find their way back
backing its way into the playoff.
Yeah,
and that's
backing their way indeed. By the way,
they still could.
Can we just at least acknowledge? We got so much to acknowledge. It was a wild weekend. Unfortunately, by the way, Ian, that is really good. Mac is too busy defeating the Grim Reaper, Jeff. So my mom was in town.
This is what you've cultivated. This is the audience you've cultivated.
Let me show you something. This is going to make you laugh. Where do you think I get it from? My mom's in town, and we're watching the end of the North Carolina-Georgia Tech game.
Oh, no.
And Mac walks out after a timeout. She goes, Jesus, Mac, you're going to die. And I look over at my mother. I've never been so proud. She goes, when did he get to be such a fat ass? I agreed. I said, well, Mom, you're not paying attention to North Carolina football, because if you were, you would have seen the campus tour that the ACC did, and you would have jumped off the couch the way I did that first day and gone, my God, Mac.
All right. So we're going to have to do a little producer and host meeting on the fly here. So we don't have a show on Friday because we got the pregame show at 4:30 at Hotel Indigo, which means
correct.
that you have to do your pick segment on Wednesday.
That is correct.
You have to ask without context, Mom, what do you think about Mac Brown? Please, for all of us.
I know.
This is the answer that everybody has to hear now.
She said it. She looked right at him, and she was flabbergasted. Now, she had a glass of wine, and my mom weighs like $105. So that one glass of wine might have gone to her head where, no more guardrails. Just going to say whatever. But she did. She saw him walk out of the field when he called the timeout. She went, my God, what happened to Mac? What a fat ass.
Jeez. Well, then she'll say something like, good heavens, he needs to get it together.
Well,
that's what she's going to say.
She's
on
rooting
Wednesday.
for people.
Yeah,
We're indifferent about Mac. I'm not rooting for him to die, but whatever. I'm not losing sleep if he does. I'm just saying we see him and we're like, good God, Mac, just calling it a day. Good thing they've got May, by the way. I mean, it didn't help them beat Georgia Tech.
No, it sure didn't. It sure didn't.
All right, it was the tale of two halves. I at least have to mention the collapse of the second half that our beloved basketball team had against the Lizards. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
When you need a plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to have to wait?
Yeah, hey, it's the Millers again. Just calling you about our little plumbing problem.
2 hours?
Hey, we were hoping you can get here soon because the water is getting really bad. I mean, please hurry.
4 hours?
I know you said you were on your way, but, honey, tell the kids to tread water.
8 hours?
Don't worry about us.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service right when you need it. At M&L Plumbing, we listen to our customers, and our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing, your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or visit us online at mndlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
Imagine for a moment that you are completely weightless with zero gravity. All of your worries and stress melt away. Your mind stops racing and you fall into a profound state of pure relaxation. This is available to you right now at Tallulah Delta 8 Plus Floating in Railroad Square for just $50. These state-of-the-art floating pods are unlike anything else you've ever experienced. And while you're there, you can shop for some of the latest and greatest CBD and Delta 8 products on the market. Natural pain management, stress relief, and better sleep are all at your fingertips at Tallulah. Tell them Jeff Cameron sent you and thank me later.
Hey, this is Greg Tish. Here's something you might know about me. I don't drink coffee. I have never had a cup of coffee in my life. Well, that is until now. So why change now? Well, it's because my dear friend at Grassroots Coffee reached out to me after hearing me say that and insisted that I give his product a try. I've been making a huge mistake. The world of coffee is fascinating. I always thought coffee is coffee, you know? No, it's not. I have tried their coffee and it is fantastic. Now, I've got a fascination with learning more about the best coffee in our area. Grassroots Coffee is locally roasted, locally owned, and locally loved. You can find whole bean Grassroots Coffee on the local aisle at Publix, also in Whole Foods. But the best way to get this black gold is to order it online. They literally grind the fresh roasted beans to your preferred level, bag it, write the date on it by hand so you know the exact day your coffee was roasted. It doesn't get any more fresh than that. Order yours now. Just go to grassrootscoffee.com and choose the coffee you want and how you want it. And join me. Let's step up our coffee game together and also support a great local business.
Give your business a facelift with a modern, consistent, creative brand overhaul from Curiosity Marketing Group. These days, it's not enough for your business just to have a standard website or a Google listing to reach your customers. Your business needs to stand out with eye-popping branding, modern web development, and strong marketing. And it takes a team to pull it all together. Words and websites matter. At Curiosity, we make the most of yours. Find out more at curiositymg.com.
I used to fight almost on a daily basis working on my business website. I'm a pretty smart guy, but I could never get it to function the way I needed it to, and I was losing customers because of it. That's when I called Curiosity Marketing. They listened, they understood, we collaborated, and in the end, they delivered beyond my highest expectations. Now, I can barely keep up with the work. They say the future belongs to the curious, and now I'm excited about the future of my business.
Find out more at curiositymg.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jammin' Show brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Man, is it easy to get used to watching us pummel teams into submission early in games. I also did not want to ignore those that have stepped up here on a Monday and contributed to the chat. Thank you so much. Squarini? Woo! Fun to say that. Appreciate you. Super sticker in that thing. And Z-Chan, as always. How you doing, Doc? Yeah. Good day, gents. Today's crown goes to the U.S. men's national team, who will hopefully get their first win today after an 8-year hiatus from the World Cup. And he wants you to know he believes. I don't believe. Maybe they'll win today. That'd be great.
Well, it's Wales and Iran. You win those 2 games, you move on, and let's get with the getting.
No, I'm excited there.
England will be tough on Friday.
I don't have high hopes. I don't delude myself into thinking we're going to do anything in the World Cup. And that way, if we do, well, it's all roses.
The last time I will clean up an error that I have been propagating for weeks. Where the U.S. men's national team website has Pacific time listed as their standard start time for matches. I don't get this.
Yes.
The East Coast is the only time zone that matters. So it's a 2 p.m. starts at today's match, so 27 minutes, and then also 2 p.m. on Friday. So it's much more of a tailgate event than it is a morning gather.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. No, I can only imagine the shock when you learned of this problem, when you saw this and said, what kind of shenanigans is going on here with these Pacific times?
Your default setting is Pacific.
Come
what is
on.
wrong with you?
Well, I mentioned it. This will be very brief. Fool's gold. This should be the headline. Fool's gold for that first half against Florida in basketball. There we sat through the first 20 minutes feeling very good. The second half saw a startling reversal in fortune, to say the least, and a whole lot of little moments of humiliation along the way.
It was startling.
Oh, my goodness. I don't know how you blow a 17-point lead inside of 30 seconds. I mean, it was kind of like, well, guys, there are 2 halves of this basketball game. 43-26 Noles at the break. And at the break, Florida State, the numbers, 3 of 6 from 3, 15 of 31 from the field. That's nearly 50%, 10 of 11 from the free throw line. Only 5 turnovers. They out-rebounded Florida. I was stunned. That never happens. And, we had the edge on the points in the paint. We had a working margin on second chance points. We had an advantage, 7-0 in fast break points. The Gators, meanwhile, were 1 of 12 from 3 and 8 of 29 from the floor. We had 4 blocks in the first half against Florida, and Green was shooting the lights out. Matthew Cleveland, who hasn't played well yet this year, was having a good game.
The motion offense was moving.
Yeah, you saw a 10-man rotation. Naheem McLeod back in there. You had Chandler Jackson, and he makes his debut. Deontay Green, he's in there. Okay, all right. And by the way, that actually is encouraging just moving forward. If you're looking for something, you're getting some guys back. So they're not going to lose all their games. They're getting some guys back. They're not going to go in each week with 6 dudes or 7 dudes.
Need to get that win over Siena this week. Playing Siena.
It's an important game, Tom.
Let's go.
We'll be locked in. But, Florida rebounded in the second half of this game, and we got back into some of our bad habits. And, there was a posterization. Naheem McLeod will not want to see that. Don't watch SportsCenter, young man. It made it over and over and over again. I'm like flipping over to Bally Sports and seeing that dunk. It was awful. The whole nation.
Why are they showing that? It's our game against the Raging Cajuns.
I know.
Why is that part of the opening montage?
UF shot over 50% in the second half, 40% from 3. They got to the free throw line. We had a ton of turnovers in the second half, 15-2 domination and points off of turnovers, 8-0 advantage in fast break points, 7-0 margin in second chance points. The game flipped on its head.
Also, the Bally app. My God.
I don't have the Bally app.
So I had to do the 7-day free trial in order for this weekend's watch along to work.
Mm-hmm.
It was legitimately 2.5 to 3 plays behind real time. I mean,
is that
minutes,
right? Well,
minutes
that far behind. Yeah. All I'll say in this situation for Florida State, won't we have Mercer? Don't we play Mercer?
That could be before Siena.
Yeah,
I'm targeting that because
can we lock in?
It's the Thanksgiving tournament. We're playing Siena
tonight. We play Mercer. Tom, I knew there was a game. I was like, what's Tom talking about? We can get a win over Mercer.
Circle and Siena.
No, circle Mercer. We could get a 2-game win streak going up in here. Let's go. Circle Mercer's 2-2. It's at the TLC Double C. You don't just stroll on it.
No, you run with vigor into the.
I can't remember. Why wasn't I?
Yeah, that's it.
Are we bringing it back? Is it early in the year?
No, that's the ding ding.
Ding ding. Ding ding. He's smoking. He's excited, but he's worried.
The ding ding's looking at us like Simon Cowell that first season of American Idol. You're a fraud.
Yeah, well, no, the ding ding's like, damn it. The beep beep's gonna get him. You don't think the beep?
I think what I would do right now is I would be working on different philosophical setups on defense and offense that I'm going to break out in Greensboro for the ACC tournament. That's our only chance. One magical week in Greensboro. I wouldn't show a thing about what I'm actually going to do in Greensboro.
The number one indicator that this team, and maybe they've just been, as I am, want to say, bereft of hope, and thus it affects the effort to the degree that they don't show up until they play Florida. But when you are a very tall team, and Florida State is, they average 6'5" or taller, right? And they don't rebound. They're losing the rebounding battle by an average of 10.2 per game. You know how likable the Florida State football team is? That would be the opposite of what we're seeing from this basketball team right now. That is a problem. That is a fair criticism. It is disconcerting. However, and it's a big however, they're getting guys back. Maybe the second half of games will not just feature a bunch of exhausted players, who obviously cannot sustain the effort from the first half.
Where do we get Boston College this year? Is it here or is it up there? Because if it's up there, I don't feel good. But if it's here, maybe, there you go. There's an ACC victory. Going to need a lot more to get that going.
We're striving to make it to the ding ding. There you go. NIT. We're looking for you. We got 500. Got to get to 500.
That's the rallying cry this year.
It's not going to happen, guys. We're not going. The ding ding knows. He's just like, would have been good to have you back. It's been, I know. Chef Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio. Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Multiple people were hurt following a single vehicle accident in Taylor County Saturday night. At 6:30 p.m., a SUV was traveling south on County Road 500, approaching Quail Street when it traveled off the roadway and struck a power pole and overturned onto its passenger side. 2 adults and 1 child sustained critical injuries, while 1 child sustained serious injuries. Most of the occupants in the vehicle were not using safety restraints. Share Your Heart and Fellowship of Christian Athletes are 2 groups that help supply over 300 feasts to families in Leon and Gadsden counties. Each family was chosen by school principals who noted students in need. Volunteers were busy in the Walmart parking lot on North Monroe Street, sorting and distributing bags and boxes, packing turkeys and the fixings. School staff and members of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes packed up their cars to fan out to schools in 2 counties and to make sure the goods are distributed to students and families in time for the Thanksgiving holiday. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Mainly cloudy skies this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 64. Northeast winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Overcast tonight, 52. Chance for scattered rain showers tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 67. Cloudy. Chance for scattered rain showers Wednesday with highs in the low 70s. Partly cloudy Thursday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 66.
This is Kyle, service manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service Program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry bucks to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
Hey, what's happening, Jeff?
It is always good to see you, Eddie. Had a long day, my man. I was thinking about it. Gordo's was the place to ease the pain. You know, you're frustrated with your job, your aggravated life's beating you down. Maybe your wife's speaking. You got to get out the door.
You know what? Here at Gordo's, man, we welcome everybody. Disgruntled wives, disgruntled husbands, kids running away from home. We'll even give that kid a job. Send them our way.
Go make some money and eat delicious food at Gordo's. It's perfect.
And have a damn good time doing it.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Hey, Matt.
Yes, Greg?
You know all the different ways that you can listen to Real Talk 93.3?
There are several.
So we've got realtalk93.com. You can go back and listen to all of our shows in the podcast section.
That's right. You can also listen on our app as well.
Search Real Talk 93.3 and look for the red microphone and download our app. Never go anywhere without us.
And of course, you can always listen right on the radio.
Well, they are listening.
Are they?
If they're hearing this commercial, then they're listening.
That's true. I hadn't thought about that.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
Rights. At what point do we, longing for the trolley and bus, settle for a ride from a trucker at the Flying J? Like it's the 1970s and we're waiting to be murdered. That's what happens at the rides from truckers.
I'm all hop in. I don't know if that was welcoming or forceful. Either way, whatever.
Yeah, let's just blindly jump on in here.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
I got hot during the break, Tom. To take off.
Yeah, I know you're shedding the layers.
I had to take off the hat and the Sergio Tacchini.
It's hot flashes.
Hey, this gives me an opportunity to make note of something, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. What a great year it's been. We've got another game, obviously, plus the bowl game, so it's not over yet. But I was reminded of it this weekend. A lot of people came out on Friday night, and then again on Saturday, we saw a lot of people, many for the first time, meeting people for the first time. Long-time listeners of the show or followers of Warchant or both, and friends of the program, as I like to say. And it's always an honor to meet people who listen to the show and say nice things. It's humbling. I appreciate it. Thank you. And I met a lot of people this weekend that way. And I got a hug from a little boy named Nico who came up to Corner Pocket on Friday. And it's one of the best hugs that I have ever experienced. I mean, that kid's a hugger through and through. And let me tell you something. The Camerons are huggers. I mean, everybody knows this about me. I'm a hugger. My dad's a hugger. My mom's a hugger. We hug. We're affectionate folk when it comes that way. So when Nico came up, who I'd never met before, young man has listened to the show since he was little. He still is little. And he looked excited. He came walking on over with his dad, and I got to meet him and his mom, and they were wonderful people. And Nico just wanted to hug. None of this shaking hands. We're going to hug. And it was great. I gave him a big hug. So, Nico, if you're listening today, buddy, it was a pleasure to meet you. It was my honor. And thank you, buddy, for listening to the show. I appreciate you very, very much. Woo! Yeah. Well, we got more, huh? Jeff and Tom.
From Nico. Yeah.
That is from Nico. And then Seth writes, Jeff and Tom, great meeting you guys at CP on Friday. Good talk on injuries, Jeff. Hoping the team stays focused this week and doesn't get dragged into a fight pregame. Excited for a beatdown. Go Noles. Yeah, Seth, was good to meet you as well. Seth of the Achilles, if you recall, earlier this year.
Mm-hmm. Walking okay.
So it was great. Woo! Appreciate it. And yeah, by the way, so Aaron can see, I've got a lot of hair here. He can see it now. That's off. He writes, Jeff has more hair than Florida has chance of beating us on Friday. It's interesting. It gets me to the Florida game itself. And I know you've begun the process of the breakdown to write about it for warchant.com.
Anthony Richardson should have it done tonight.
Well, I look forward to reading it. I have watched a lot of Florida games this year. I tend to keep a close eye on our rivals. I'm always wanting to know from a program standpoint who's where in this race for recruits and statewide domination. And Florida State could really stamp that thing as a clear victor and well in front as, the team that, if you're unsure, has the best chance to win the most amount of games over the next 2-3 years as a recruit. You want to be the clear-cut favorite in that category. And Florida State has that opportunity, having absolutely humiliated Miami, who apparently is fond of being humiliated. Miami had 98 yards of offense this weekend. 98. Sweet Jesus.
Guess they cared to be there.
I mean, quitting on a coach in year one. Well, now, that was something to behold.
Maybe it's because the checks don't clear down there.
I don't know. But I'll tell you what, 98 yards is hard to do. Everybody's run on Clemson this year. What are we doing? Run the ball, Miami. What are you doing? Can't run the ball? Oh, 98 yards. Less than 25 yards per quarter. Sweet Jesus.
On that note, congratulations to the Raging Cajuns for scoring 2 more touchdowns on us than Miami did.
Yeah. Or Syracuse.
Yeah. That's right.
Scored more than Georgia Tech did, didn't they?
Yeah.
But, yeah. By 1?
By 1 point.
Yeah, by 1 point, yeah.
Georgia Tech, who also scored more touchdowns on us than Miami did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who beat North Carolina.
Yeah, that's
Good
right.
job, Mac Brown.
Unbelievable.
So there's that. But then anyhow, I've watched a lot of Florida, and they are weird. They are a Jekyll and Hyde team. That South Carolina team that just put it on Tennessee to the tune of 63 points. Spencer Rattler, who sucked all year long and basically his entire career, decides to show up on this given night and drop 6 touchdowns on Tennessee's defense. Effortless. I mean, it was really effortless in the way in which he operated. But that said, that South Carolina team got housed by Florida. I mean, Florida basically humiliated South Carolina, did anything they wanted. And you've watched Florida nearly lose at home to USF, who has 1 win this year, who's terrible, who's like not competitive, who fired their coach. You've seen Kentucky look bad, like losing to Vanderbilt, but then Florida lost to Vanderbilt and Kentucky beat Florida. So it's a weird, I don't know. That team, to me, Anthony Richardson, when playing well, and he did throw for 400 yards in their loss to Vanderbilt, when playing well, gives them a fighting chance to beat a lot of teams. They could have beaten Tennessee. They were down 8 in the second half to Georgia. They've been in these games. It shows they can compete. They're not good on defense. They don't play consistently well. They have broken assignments on defense a lot. And that certainly bodes well for Florida State's offense, which is really cooking right now. But this is going to be a more unique challenge, I think, against Florida's offense if Anthony Richardson is at the peak of his game because high-end Anthony Richardson is actually good.
Yeah, he's legit good. You can see why the pros like the clay that they could mold. He's a project for the NFL, but he does some things that are just unique.
Well,
and
he's
really,
got a
really
cannon
gifted.
for an arm.
And it's a free motion. It's
Yeah.
like watching a pitcher who you say when you're watching his
Jumps out
windup
of his hand.
and you say there's no injury there. He's not putting any stress. He's not Chris Sale who's going to have his arm come out of the socket as he's delivering a pitch. It's easy breezy. He keeps his eyes downfield as long as he sees the rush in front of him. His eyes are down the field to make a play.
He does not feel pressure from backside, though, and
Correct.
that's good. So there's a difference between being able to see it, outmaneuver a defender, and make a play with your legs, which he can do, but also being able to feel the rush. He doesn't. His timing's not good. It's not a great pocket presence. That's why he's a work in progress.
Correct. He's also very difficult to bring down to the
Well, he's a
ground,
big dude.
and he's not afraid to use his size. There are some similarities, for example, between him and DJ.
Except for DJ doesn't run with any kind of manliness.
DJ is timid, and
He's afraid to get hit.
Richardson is not.
No.
He's not afraid, and he will run for that extra 3 or 4 yards if you give up on a play. So he's the guy that if we have to take a penalty along the sidelines, the tape says that you got to play to the echo of the whistle with him because he will cheat and take those extra 3 or 4 yards if you
It's one of
pull
the things
up.
about the rules I don't like.
Because he'll
Yes.
run you over. He'll just put his shoulder into your chest, and
Yeah.
you're going to go for a ride.
And I will point this out because it may turn out to be something that matters in the game on Friday. Coaches have to, and Mike is very mindful of these things, and I think does a good job with this, but the coaches have to talk to refs before games about certain aspects of their own team and the other team. And all coaches do this, by the way. So if you're a team that really blocks well on the perimeter with your receivers, one, Billy Napier is going to tell the officials that they hold. That's what he's going to say. He's going to get in their ears and say, watch them. They hold. I watch tape all week long. And yeah, there's a reason they run the ball so well every week, ref. They hold out on the perimeter. So he's trying to get in their heads, right? Meanwhile, Mike's going to say, now listen, we've worked really hard this entire offseason. We had refs there every day at practice. When we scrimmaged, we made sure that we know how to block with great technical precision. We are not holding out there. Don't let them try to tell you we're holding out there. You watch us. We have our hands where they're supposed to be, and we block it up. That's our MO. It's what we do. We throw to the perimeter. So both sides are going to make that point. But Mike is going to have to say, hey, look, their quarterback is a grown-ass man who can really run. And you are not going to tell my defenders that when we're out on the perimeter, they have to pull up or they're going to get run the hell over. Because that's what he does. He fakes like he's going out of bounds, and then he lowers his shoulder, and my guy's not going to get bitched. So don't just because he rides him into the sideline and we go flying into the stools and so forth and let them jump up and down like the world's on fire. No, man, that's not a penalty. If his feet are in bounds, he's getting hit.
Yeah, that's a great clip from the Bobby Bowden documentary from the 80s. It might have been the late 70s, but I'm pretty sure it's the 80s.
Yeah.
Where he goes and talks to the officials in the hallway before the game starts and the specifics that he goes through.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like 6 or 7 things that he wanted. Okay, now, and he's got a notepad. Like, okay, now on to the defense.
Yeah.
And here's some of the things we got to talk about there. Don't let them do this now.
Yeah.
That's an art. There's an art form to that. But the thing that I'm most excited about is I think we can stop the straight ahead run.
I do too.
And that is everything. That's the game. If you can stop the straight ahead run, if you look at Richardson's grades and numbers, play action is a huge deal. Some quarterbacks, it's not a big deal at all. Tom Brady is one of the famous examples of if he's in play action situations, you're screwed. Richardson is a hell of a lot more productive and a lot more risk averse if he can get out of play action and make throws downfield. And they're going to keep doing it. They're stubborn that they want to run between the tackles. You can see what Napier wants to be.
Yeah, he's going to be. I actually think that he's going to end up being a good coach.
But it's not a ton of counter. They have some. They run quarterback power to the outside, but they don't run a ton of counter like we do. It's right up the gut between the tackles. And the fact that Fabian Lovett in the past 4 weeks has played 2 games worth of football because they're all blowouts.
Well, it's one of the great things about
huge.
Everything that we've done these last 4 weeks, getting walk-ons in the game, third stringers in the game, meaningful minutes, second stringers, freshmen, you name it. I mean, meaningful minutes for these guys and reps for these guys in these blowout wins. It's been beautiful.
They want no tricks right up the gut. This is what we're going to do. But I wonder how quickly they come off that if we do stop it, because they do have other elements with read options and things like that in motion. I don't think they can do it straight ahead. I think they're going to be in second and long straight ahead. And if they are, then that's the recipe for us to blow them out. It's not as sure of a thing as the Miami week, but there is a path here. There is, and it starts with stopping the run, because the other thing that Napier wants to do, he did it against Tennessee. This was his goal. shorten the game. He is fully aware of when he's outgunned. And so he wants to shorten the game. And if they can get on the ground those 3 and 4 yards, they're not going to rush to the line of scrimmage and tempo you.
Yeah, they want fewer reps, not more. Obviously, when you're out, man, that's, you do want to shorten the game. If you have the better players, more plays, not less plays, Jimbo Fisher. Jeez. But that said, yes, Napier gets it. And if they can keep the ball away from you and be in the game, obviously the pressure shifts to Florida State.
He's also crazy. He reminds me of Coach Norvell year 1. 2021, the first real season.
Mm-hmm.
He'll go for on a 4th and 2 from anywhere on the field. He doesn't care.
Well,
4th and 2, 4th and 3.
Yeah, and I have a philosophy. I think in year 1 or year 2, when you're trying to send a message to your team that you believe in them and that you trust them, and also when you're not the better team most days because you haven't got your people in there yet, you haven't been able to flip personnel or the locker room for that matter. These are things that you do. You take chances. It's a risk-reward type thing where you say, you know what? We need the ball, man. We're not going to make a ton of stops. We gotta cash in when we can. We have it now, 4th and 1. I'll take my chances. Here to get that yard. And I got a quarterback who's a grown-up. I mean, that's a big boy. You ought to be able to run the ball with him and get a first down. He takes those chances.
I think one of the messages for the defense this week has to be, like the mistake that Dent made on the DJ pass down the seam where he kind of gave up on that play. Don't do that with this quarterback. The play's not over till he's on the ground.
Yeah.
Because he'll make something happen out of nothing.
It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. How did an hour go by, man? That's it. You can just tell it's Florida State Florida week. What a great weekend of football that was. More on the other side. Stay with us.
The workforce, their goal is to climb the company ladder. Often the climb requires a move to another city, and that's especially true in our industry. I'm Jay of Paul's Termite and Pest Control. If you rise the ranks of our competitors, there's a good chance moving up means moving away. Why? Because they're not local companies. They're from places like Orlando, Atlanta, Salt Lake City, and even Europe. That's certainly not the case with our employees. We're a company that was founded in the Big Bend and remains locally owned. When Paul's Termite and Pest Control employees advance, they remain in the Tallahassee area. Don't trust the safety of your family and pets from disease-carrying pests or the structure of your biggest investment from termites to people who may be here today and gone tomorrow. Trust Paul's Termite and Pest Control, a company that has serviced thousands of our neighbors right here for over 50 years. Being local really does matter in our industry because local problems require local solutions. Paul's Termite and Pest Control are the Big Bend's local experts for the elimination of termites or any other pest, and a greener lawn too. Call Paul's. We'll get them all.
If you're hearing this right now and you or someone you know is active military, a veteran, police officer, firefighter, nurse, or a teacher, turn up the volume and listen to this. My friend Shannon with Legendary Home Loans has a Hometown Hero loan program designed to make a difference to those who make a difference. When it's time to buy a new home, he will waive all lender fees for all Hometown Heroes. That's a $1,600 value right out of the gate. Also, if you decide to use their preferred title company for their closing, you'll be saving another $600. That's $2,200 in discounts right off the top. That's like 20 tanks of gas in your car. And today, more than ever, it's important to save as much money as you can, wherever you can. So if you or someone you know is active military, veteran, police officer, firefighter, nurse, or a school teacher, and looking to buy a new home, choose Shannon Young, Legendary Home Loans, and ask about their Hometown Heroes program. Call 844-FSU-LOAN or just visit FSUHomeLoans.com. That's FSUHomeLoans.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 2270146.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. In remarks from the White House earlier today, President Biden says he's pardoning Thanksgiving turkeys chocolate and chip.
Based on their temperament and commitment to being productive members of society, I hereby pardon. Yes. I hereby pardon chocolate and chip.
This year marked the 75th anniversary of the pardon. So will your holiday packages be delivered on time?
The big shipping companies feel pretty good about this holiday season. The Postal Service, FedEx, and UPS confident now after struggling under the holiday crush for 2 years when the pandemic started. You remember, that's when many of us hunkered down at home and turned to online shopping. FedEx just told the AP, we're confident and ready. UPS is hiring about 100,000 seasonal workers to get over the holiday hump. And it has this advice for you. Shop, buy, and ship early. I'm Rita Foley.
Also at townhall.com. You could call it the unofficial opening of the next presidential primary season.
No fewer than 10 major Republican White House prospects stepped onto the ballroom stage this weekend in Las Vegas. Within many speeches, a sense of defiance rarely seen since former President Donald Trump took control of the party 6 years ago. Their central message, this is the moment for the party to move beyond Mr. Trump. However, as Trump's rivals grow more confident, many party officials say the crowded 2024 class may already be laying the groundwork to recreate Trump's success in 2016. Jason Walker reporting.
NASA's Orion capsule reaching the moon, the first time a capsule has visited the moon since NASA's Apollo program 50 years ago. More at townhall.com.
Charlie Dombeck here from Key City Capital. As a practicing CPA for nearly 30 years, I have found that 80% of your ability to grow your wealth is dependent upon two factors: taxes and investment performance. At Key City Capital, we improve investment performance by diversifying capital into off-market investment opportunities in passive rental real estate and alternatives like asset-backed lending. We recover dollars that clients unnecessarily pay in the form of income taxes, creating a lifetime annuity of savings. We are a sponsor of passive, affordable single and multifamily residential rental investments, which are located in Sunbelt landlord-friendly states. These investments are the top choices in a rising interest rate and inflationary environment. They represent a store of value, protecting your capital from market volatility. Learn how we at Key City Capital can help you ultimately grow your wealth rapidly. Connect with me at keycitycapital.com or give me a call at 817-912-1569.
Car accident? Call 777-7777 for Basic Brooks.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, T-SparkConstruction.com. We conquer all peaks. We fix those darn leaks. Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, T-SparkConstruction.com.
License number CCC 1331204.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Be a fun game, incredible atmosphere, nice weather, not as cold as I would have liked. Nice weather, but not as cold as I would have liked.
Yesterday was a little bit better in that
Yeah,
regard.
it was. But I'm talking about this Saturday. We're not going to get what we had hoped for. I was hoping, I was hoping for 40s or something like that. We're not going to get that. Not during the game. I don't think.
No, it looks like it's going to be a little muggy.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Not heartbreaking on the field. Florida State has been good. They continue to be really good, really, really good. And putting people away early is a lot of fun. It makes for an easy life. And Florida State's done that, just dominating folks right now. Quick question as an aside here. I was double checking. I don't really care about these things as much, typically, because it's a beauty contest and you've got folks that maybe aren't really watching the games making some of these decisions. But why is Florida State ranked behind Notre Dame? Notre Dame, who lost at home to Stanford?
My only guess is it's Clemson-like opponent. They beat him. We didn't.
I guess they did lose at home to Stanford.
I agree. I know who I'd take if we go toe-to-toe right freaking now.
Yeah. It's just, something to point out. How much football did you watch?
Could be pity for the dump of a town that they live in.
How much football did you watch on Saturday?
On Saturday,
after it was all said and done.
I didn't watch as much of that night slate as I thought I was going to.
I was incredible.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. Some nights you go, maybe I'm just going to enjoy the weather outside. Whatever.
You got a TV outside, buddy.
I know.
How did you not watch USC and UCLA?
I think I was put off, even though it was really entertaining. I watched South Carolina amass the lead before Hooker got hurt.
Which was sad.
It is. Yeah, really.
I hated that for him. Yeah.
And I thought, all right. And then, Tech in North Carolina, I watched that wrap up and laughed, and that was funny. And I just, in a rare instance, this is really atypical for me. I said, all right, I'm good. I'm good on football for today.
Well, not me. I couldn't wait. I watched Oregon and Utah, and I watched UCLA and USC, and I needed all the football I could get. I'm not going to stop. I mean, we have precious little left. So I took them all in, and man, am I glad that I did. The UCLA-USC game was, admittedly, if you like defense, you didn't get any until that final interception. But it was fun just to flip around all of the games that were going on late because we ended up having a lot of close games, a lot of moments where you're like, whoa, this is getting nuts. Once our game was over, which was basically a few minutes after it kicked off, it was pretty easy to start to divert your attention to the crazy endings that were going on with Michigan. And I do want to say this, for all the times that a coach will claim that a team practices something when they're able to execute in a moment of crisis. And most of the time, they're kind of full of it. They don't practice it the way that they want you to think that they do. Clearly, Sonny Dykes and his team at TCU practice last-second field goals with no timeouts and getting your offense off the field and your special teams on it without any hitch in the giddy-up. That was as well an executed special teams moment as I've ever seen in the waning seconds of a football game. Nobody looked flustered. Everybody's like, we got this. Right after the play ended, the TCU offense got up, summarily trotted to the side. They were on the right side as the special teams unit trotted on from the left side. Nobody weaving in and out of each other. They all got lined up. My man knew right where to stand, right where to kneel, ready for the ball. Kicker trots out. Got this. Let's go. Pap, down the middle. Peace. It was impressive. I was really floored. And after the game, he's like, well, we practice that every Thursday. That's what we do on Thursdays. We practice that every Thursday. I was like, I believe you. Clearly you do. And it's gotten through. That was incredible. What a moment. A lot of fun to watch.
All I could see was from the game cast because I was doing the post-game show at the time. So that's pretty cool.
You need to go watch it. You're going to laugh. Yeah. You're going to be like, that is as efficient an operation as I've ever seen in special teams. Especially you have no timeouts. We got to get this thing off. Normally you see it's, man, oh, gee, run out there, Ronnie. And you got 12. There's some people are flipping out. Your kicker's like, come on. Everybody's looking.
The guy in the booth is like, they got to hurry here.
Yeah.
They got to hurry here.
You can hear Gus, right? He's saying it. Oh, they got to hurry. And, it was perfect. They were just like, no, we got this. We're good. Good. We do it. We should never do it the other way. We should always do it like there's no time on the clock. It was unbelievable. And then I did. I went and looked it up. I wanted to see what he had to say. And he's like, every Thursday, we practice that every Thursday. Yeah, we were ready for the moment. As soon as it happened, I told him, let's go. And he had like a code word for it. And they're all like, that is so awesome. Good for those kids. You never see that. That was good. Also, it was something to behold that Michigan was going to blow this Michigan-Ohio State matchup. And then, obviously, what happened. It was a weird weekend. We went into the weekend not thinking that there were that many good games to be had. And as it turned out, Ohio State versus Maryland turned out it's 33-30 in the fourth quarter. You've got the Michigan game with Illinois. Fat Bielema almost pulling off the upset of the year.
It's a great matchup for them. Yeah.
Then you get TCU with another last-second win, the manner in which they did. USC, who's number 5 in this week's AP poll, getting the win that they did. I will say this about USC. I'm not sure that there's another team in the country whose quarterback is more solely responsible for them being any good at all.
So would that mean you'd pick him for the Heisman?
Yes.
Okay.
100%. Yes. He's been better than CJ Stroud. And Hendon Hooker's now hurt and they lost, and that's just not going to happen for them. And yes, overwhelmingly, he's a freak. That he accounted for more than 500 yards in that game, but it's throw after throw after throw after throw. There were 2 in that game, Tom, where you're going to, like, if you saw it, because you and I love the NFL as well, and we love the draft. So when you see certain kids make certain throws, you're like, oh, well, that is different.
Well, and that's like Anthony Richardson. Watching the best of him is an NFL highlight reel.
Yeah,
his best throws are crazy good.
He has fewer of them than.
Oh, yeah. No. I'm just saying that to your point about the NFL stuff. I do often, as I'm watching, think, well, that would play on a Sunday.
Right. And it's true, without question. And it's when you watch USC, they don't defend anybody. So if he doesn't make plays, they can't win. It is crazy. It's every possession. He's got to make a dropping throw, and he does. You're like, well, and also I think just another observation here, because he was once at Oklahoma. Both gentlemen were. At some point, do you think Lincoln Riley is going to be like, man, maybe I should get a defense together? I mean, we ever going to stop anybody? I mean, sweet Jesus, Lincoln. All those years at Oklahoma, they're having to win 52-46, and I mean, nonsense like that.
Oh man, that was close. That was legit close.
Well, it made me mad when he was at OU. I'm like, come on, man.
That's what that is. I can feel that personal.
Well, they
spite.
score 55 every weekend, and they're in danger of losing 4 games a year. What are you doing, dude? Get a stop every now and again.
No, they've got $50 million now to throw around. Well, the problem.
Throw around at the defense. Throw it at the defense at some point, because all Lincoln Riley teams do this. They score a gazillion points. His offense is awesome. Always. It's always awesome. But they don't stop anybody, ever. And that's Southern Cal as well.
It's an interesting game this weekend, though, because it's Notre Dame and USC.
Well, Notre Dame's going to try to run the ball.
What a clash of styles.
Well, and I'm actually very excited about that. I do. I'm excited about the games this weekend. Obviously, ours being first and foremost, but there's some interesting matchups. I dare say, I mean, Tennessee could have a problem this weekend. You lose your hero and a guy that had to have been the heart and soul of that team, and Vanderbilt's won 2 straight.
Do you think Clemson could have a problem after the South Carolina that we saw on Saturday showed that they exist? Like that's in them?
Yeah, I just don't know what do I do with South Carolina? Who are they? Do you trust them at all?
I mean, you may be talking to a guy who took the under on a 10.5 before the season started, but I just found that it could be a little bit more interesting now. I think I was on the right side of that, looking at what Clemson actually is this year. It's kind of miraculous that they're in position to win 11 games. But South Carolina could make that interesting now.
They could. Yeah, I hope so. I mean, it would be a fun game to watch if they do. I can't trust them each week. I don't know what that was. You've not seen too many contrasting performances as stark as those two. South Carolina against Florida and South Carolina against Tennessee.
Well, and South Carolina against A&M really wasn't all that impressive. It was just a hellish start, and then they held on for
dear life. Yeah,
48 minutes.
It's weird to watch. By the way, what we haven't mentioned about this weekend were the 17 people that went to the Texas A&M game. Holy moly! I mean, that's got to be it, right? There was nobody there. At one point, I do think I saw a stat that UMass was outgaining A&M like midway through the second quarter on the ground. But yes, I would.
When the cultists don't show up, you got a problem.
I mean, that is a big problem.
You know, if the Scientology facility down in Clearwater is empty, that's something's up.
They're not down with your brand.
Right.
I think I would vote for Caleb Williams to win the Heisman. I was just looking up.
Well, here's his chance this weekend. You could cement your candidacy with a big performance against Notre Dame.
He's completing 65% of his passes. He averages nearly 10 yards a throw, and he's got 33 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. He's also rushed for over 300 yards and 7 touchdowns. And I don't know. It's just play after play after play with that kid. He's really, really good. Now, he's got weapons galore, and Southern Cal is going to score a lot of points for the very near future. They just have to find ways to stop people. The rest of that AP, and I was getting to it solely because I wanted to note that Florida State is 16th in the country with a win this weekend. Could be hovering around that top 10 because a lot of teams play each other there. Notre Dame plays USC, for example. You've got games where we're closing in on soon enough where if Florida State can win this Friday against Florida, Tom, and all these teams that have 2 losses have that rivalry game, or if they're in a conference championship game. So what do you do? So LSU is 9-2. They play Texas A&M this weekend. They'll probably put they'll put a hurting on Texas A&M, right? And they're knocking on the door trying to get into that top 5.
That number's only 10.
Yeah, A&M's not trying real hard these days, folks. So I'd lay that 10.
Maybe there's an interim coach. Maybe that's why they have the number at 10. They know something we don't know yet.
But let's say they go on to lose to Georgia and they finish with 3 losses, and they're 10-3, and Florida State's 9-3 with a head-to-head win against LSU. I mean, you may be going to be able to, in pin, put Florida State into that top 10. How about that, buddy?
Yeah, I'm looking at the slate on Saturday, and it is robust. There's a lot of things that, maybe even if a game is not interesting on its face for the college football playoff, LSU and A&M is going to be on the TV. I mean,
you're going to watch it just to see
a little schadenfreude
whether or
TV.
not it's a bloodbath.
Michigan, Ohio State at noon. So let me ask you this. Notre Dame and USC or Michigan, Ohio State, which game do you think will be more competitive on Saturday?
It's interesting because, I do think
that Ohio State number is already over 7. It's at 7.5.
They don't believe, obviously, in Michigan's offense fresh off that game against Illinois.
Apparently injuries as well for the Wolverines.
They have some. That's going to be a good game. I want to watch both. That's my answer. I'm very excited. I want to watch both.
They're spread out very far in the day, so you have that ability to do so.
The Saturday, I could get used to this Friday situation. I know a lot of people don't like it. I could get very used to a Friday game and then sitting back and watching everybody else on a Saturday. That's not going to suck. And by the way, if you're wondering how it all lays out, yes, we have the pregame show. As always, we will be there at Hotel Indigo beginning at 4:30. And you guys can swing on by if you're in town. It was so great to meet so many of you. Lewis, if you're listening, appreciated meeting you.
Oh, man, that was great.
Dre, great to meet you as well. And thanks for your service. Awesome, man. So many people. And, we'll be there again. It's so much fun. The doors open at 4 o'clock. 4:30 begins the show. Tom and I will be there. Then you have the watch along and then the post-game show as always. So we'll be there. We'll be ready to go. And we'll have a good time doing it. That atmosphere is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, that's one.
It's been a minute.
Given that you got the World Cup match as well, just for anybody traveling into town, leave earlier if you want to get to your tailgate lot or College Town in general. It's going to be a while. If you think that you're just going to roll up towards that area of town around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, you probably want to get your car situated, parked, I don't know, by 1 or 2. It's going to be a busy day.
It's going to be a very busy day and a fun day. I do know that, again, for Florida State fans, game day itself, the lots will be open at 10 a.m., if you're wondering.
Buddy.
So the RV lots are open at 10 a.m. Parking lots, I guess, are open around noon. I think that's right.
In the 40 minutes that we have left in the program, does the council need to meet?
About a cat?
Yeah. It's a 2-man council. It's you and me. You have 2 votes, and I have 1. So my vote doesn't count.
Well,
so you got to make a ruling here.
I will talk to you during the break. The great Ira Chappelle is going to join us here pretty shortly. You and I will have a decision when we come back from the commercial break. Looking forward to this. I've thought about it off and on. We haven't had one in a long time. And that's no reason to just have one. Oh, willy-nilly like.
The 10 a.m. thing is a little stunning, though. That might affect some of the conversations here.
I wanted to double-check things. Okay, so let's do this. The RV lots open at 10 a.m.
Okay, the RV lots.
RV lots. So they're partying. 10 a.m., the RV.
You own an RV. You know what you're doing.
Yeah, you're getting down. You've already been partying. All right, so the RV lots open at 10 a.m. The parking lots open at noon.
Oh, okay. Big difference. Those
You
2
still
hours.
get 7 hours.
Yeah, but the 10 a.m. is the heavy pour on the bloody, and then that could set you off or screwdriver, and then you're off and running.
People also forget that there are categories. It's not a singular category. There are categories. And that's where this all started. So, it's not one or none. It's not that way. So you have to keep in mind, we grade these things.
But also, there's a lot of considerations here.
Lobbying.
No, I'm not. I'm impartial.
Yeah.
And I have a vote.
You do have a vote. I mean, I have the ultimate vote, but sure.
You've got 2 votes and I've got 1.
Right.
That's right. So you got the power.
I do.
Thanksgiving. Some people on Thanksgiving get a little extra. So if you've got a little bit of something bleeding over from Thanksgiving night and you're watching New England and Minnesota, the 8 p.m. game, go to bed late, that can influence how you need to govern yourself the next day, because you could be coming off of a strong one.
There's another way to look at that. If you keep it together on Thanksgiving because you're the head of the household and you want to set a good example, perhaps you've got young ones and, Uncle Ted's going to drink enough for everybody. And then you've got his wife, Marie, who's really annoying.
Right. But she always knows when it's time to go.
Right.
Damn it, Teddy.
Yeah.
Every year.
And you're chuckling as you eat another boiled egg, soft-boiled.
Good night, everybody. He's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Hard-boiled, whatever the hell I'm talking about. So all of those things, it's great. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Good to see you, Marie. Ted, be well as always, buddy. Take some aspirin.
As he's out the door.
Well, I'm going to see you at noon tomorrow. The lot's open at noon. So that's him. Okay. So Ted and Marie just left. Meanwhile, your cousin never knows when to leave, and there he sits waiting to have a long conversation with you about his life, which you're not even all that worried about, but he wants to tell you about it. And now you have to ask him how things are at the job. How's Orlando treating you, Bob? Yeah? It's still still there? Cool.
But that's dangerous, though, if we're talking about personal responsibility, because when you ask that question, it could be accompanied by glug, 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 glug.
So you're going back.
Really?
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah. Yeah. Here we go. So you have all these things, and then, maybe you keep it, tidied up, locked in. Everybody leaves. It's midnight. Hon, I'm not responsible for tomorrow. I'm not driving. This is going to be a good day. I'm starting early.
Coming in hot.
Can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning. So here we go. This is, I'm going to bed.
Did you buy the extra hot sauce for the bloodies?
So there's 2 sides to this. So there's that guy. And if you're designating based on that guy, that could influence you. If you're based on the other guy, Ted, then that's going to lessen things. So we'll talk it through. Ira Shafel set to join us momentarily. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Leaky faucet, busted pipes, clogged toilet? M&L Plumbing is here for you. For all commercial, construction, and residential plumbing issues, call M&L Plumbing at 575-9393 or visit online at mnlplumbing.com.
Every day, Sellers makes life a little better for homeowners, helping them find the best design ideas for their homes with the best quality tile, carpet, and hardwood flooring. Even mosaics, ceramic, and vinyl solutions are at their fingertips in their remarkable showroom. Maybe it's time for you to get the Sellers Advantage for your home or office. Find them on Capitol Circle Northeast, just north of Mahan Drive, or online at sellerstile.com. For style, quality, and design, get the Sellers Advantage. In Tallahassee, call 656-8453.
If you're a business owner of any kind, you need advanced fire protection services. We are AFPS, and we provide high-quality life safety services throughout Northwest Florida, and we've been doing it since 1989, with offices now in Tallahassee. Fire sprinklers, fire alarms, fire extinguishers, hood suppression systems, and emergency exit lights. For all of your life safety equipment, we've got you covered 24/7. We are Advanced Fire Protection Services. For a free life safety system evaluation, visit WeSaveLives.com. That's WeSaveLives.com.
This is Dr. James Ryan Finn
and Dr. Shannon Lord.
We are the dynamic duo at Finn Chiropractic, where we seek to get to the cause of your problem.
Whether you have neck pain, back pain, headaches, or any joint stiffness,
we've developed the Phenomenal Health Exam with some high-tech ways to get to the cause.
Our Phenomenal Health Exam will give the answers you need.
Get in for the Phenomenal Health Evaluation.
Visit our website at finnchiro.com, FENNCHIRO.com.
Because your chiropractor loves you.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Siri, tell me a joke. The past, present, and future walk into a bar. It was tense.
All jokes aside, the trained professionals at Mac & More Systems are serious about Apple products. For all your Mac repairs, call Mac & More Systems at 894-3622. 894-3622.
Physical stress on our bodies can take its toll as the years go by. Whether you're looking to get back into an old sport or just want to spend more time outdoors to explore all life has to offer in our beautiful city, the dedicated team at TOC is here for you every step of the way. You can trust TOC for all your orthopedic needs. And now, scheduling an appointment has never been easier. Just visit teamtoc.com and click schedule online. That's teamtoc.com.
Tallahassee's 30-year-old funny paper and American Legion Post 13 have joined forces to become Major Morale. The new magazine has 4 more pages of post activities and military information that you probably never knew. But don't worry, it's still as politically correct and newsworthy as always. Okay, it's the same funny stuff, but it's still only available at the sponsors' locations like Tallahassee Automobile Museum, Krispy Kreme Donuts, Keith Lawson Services, or ABC Flooring. Tallahassee's leading supplier of in-stock, top-of-the-line ceramic, carpet, waterproof, and hardwood floors since 1990. At ABC Flooring, you can pick out your floor and installation can begin in 48 hours. ABC Flooring is also the leading supplier of in-stock landlord property management products in the Panhandle. Visit their warehouse showroom on Capitol Circle Southeast or call 877-6600.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
Football season has really seen all of us be gluttonous. It's what we do. It's heavy season.
We didn't know how to handle all the winning.
Nah, we got to work it off together, guys. We've got to work it off together on the other side of Thanksgiving, trying to get some semblance of health back to us before Christmas. Then you could really lock it in the new year. And that first month is free. And then you get that heart rate monitor. You save even more money. They do you right. First workout is free. You can go in there and try it, figure it all out. Orange Theory Fitness is where it's at. 2 locations here in town. Swing on by Midtown if that's more convenient, or out there on the north side by Fresh Market where I go. Corey Clark goes there now. He's been working out at Orange Theory Fitness. He's added it to the repertoire.
You getting some rowing in this week before the food on Thursday?
I need to. The heavy season's always tough. I've really been proud of you. You have been able to shun the gluttony that I have not.
It's been a late recovery. There was some gains, but I'm down to 3 or 4 to the good side from LSU to this point.
I'm just glad I'm going to be able to fall back on it and get really after it as soon as football season is. But I refuse not to enjoy football season, and this has been a very enjoyable football season.
I agree. It's just, for me, it's about weekday management. You handle your weekdays, and then, well, with the Saturday schedule, it probably helps me too. Because we've got
true.
the
That's
pre,
true.
the in, and the
Yeah.
post game.
All my responsibilities over with the pregame show ends, at least for that Saturday.
This Saturday could be a lot of fun. You saw the countdown is already on for the keg stands and the funnels.
Yeah,
that's in the chat. Now we got to go take care of business, but we're under 140 hours.
Well, and
so
Ira said he was going to do more than a beer funnel.
a 2-beer funnel.
A 2-beer funnel. Yeah, I don't know if he said just 2. Could be 3. I don't. Is he on? We can ask him right now. Ira Chappelle joins us on the Jeff Cameron Show. Ira, was it 2, 3, 4 beers?
I'm not putting a cap on it. Is all.
Whoa!
We'll see how this game goes Friday night, and we'll see. I'm not going to impose a cap until I know how the game goes.
Well, what I like is that he's that kind of open. He is ready to celebrate along with everybody else at this point, man. This has been. I began the show today, Ira, with a whole bunch of praise for the program, and just talked a lot about, after another blowout win, how eminently likable this group is because of the work, because of the stick-to-itiveness, because of what they've been through and all of that, the way they play on Saturdays and the way they play for each other. And, we talk about it a lot, man, but every time you watch them play, you smile a little bit because somebody's doing something that reminds you of how far this program has come.
Yeah, and really that's, the other part of it, kind of tied in with that is just the fact that it's not like you've got a Dalvin Cook.
Right.
You've got one player that's just so great that you've got this window of time. And, you need to take advantage of it because you don't know when that window is going to close and if he goes pro or whatever it is. But that's not like this. They're like Saturday, Johnny Wilson played 5 snaps, it seemed.
Right.
Micah Pittman didn't play very much. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really seem to matter who's on the field. They're going to put up points, and the defense is going to stop people. And, again, Louisiana is not very good, but they're not terrible. And just like Syracuse is not terrible, Georgia Tech and Miami are not. Miami might be.
Yeah, Miami's terrible.
But it's just impressive the fact that they bring it every week. And I'm excited to see what they do Friday because, I think they're a much better football team than Florida. But I know because it's a rivalry, we're not going to really let ourselves probably embrace that. Although you did against Miami. This is the same approach I took for Miami is, you don't know what's going to happen. But it feels like Florida State's a significantly better team than Florida, in my opinion.
Well, then do it, baby. Drop it. Tell everybody about this ass kicking that's coming on Saturday. Go ahead. Yeah, listen, I will say this. Yes, I really did think they'd blow Miami out. I thought we were catching them at the right time, that Florida State was really coming on, and Miami had some serious question marks. And Florida State is better than Florida, but I do think Florida's far more competitive and physical than Miami was.
For sure.
A lot more. And I will say, and I've watched a lot of them, and I think we both have, when Anthony Richardson's good, he's really good. And when he's bad, he's pretty damn bad. So it's a weird thing to try to peg or really know for certain, because when he plays well, man, that kid makes all the throws. Plus, we know how physical he is and how fast he is. It's just, obviously, I think the real distinct advantage here is Florida State's offense is going to move the ball against Florida's defense. That is going to happen. It's just a matter of whether or not, you're able to get stops. Is that the element of the game that you're most intrigued by? Is Anthony Richardson and Florida's offense against Florida State's defense?
Yeah, to me, he kind of feels a little bit kind of like a Spencer Rattler, like where he could get hot and you could be in trouble, like
Tennessee was
on Saturday night, or you could not be. But to that point, the fact that Florida's defense has not been very good. One thing that really, I think has me excited about Florida State's chances is, the run defense has been so good. I think they're going to have a major advantage on both lines of scrimmage. I Florida State's going to be better on the lines of scrimmage. Florida also isn't going to have Ventrell Miller for the first half, which is a positive, obviously. And they're, I don't know, man. I'll be very surprised if Florida comes down here and puts up a lot of points against this defense, the way it's been playing in that environment. I mean, I think it's going to be a great environment.
Yeah, I do too.
The defense is going to continue to play well, and so you're not going to get a lot of cheapies. This defense doesn't give up cheapies. That's, we complained in the first half of the season they didn't create a lot of big plays, they didn't get a lot of turnovers. Now they've been starting to get some of those, but they still don't give up a lot of cheapies. And so, is Anthony Richardson going to put together a bunch of drives where he's hitting consecutive passes underneath? We'll see. I don't know that they're going to give up a lot of deep shots.
I want to point to your 3-2-1 column as it did in hour number 1. I liked it, especially this week, Ira. Not every week, but this week was especially good.
Perfect.
I'm not trying
to. I don't care about the other ones.
I'm just teasing it. It's always great, but this one I liked because you made a point that I think will cause people to take a step back and think a little bit about how much they've enjoyed this season. Because, as you noted, this sport has never been more fluid, I think is what you wrote, than it is now. And I think that's accurate. Like, I think Florida State has a bedrock for success moving forward, that he's put together a program that's rooted in the right things. But given the NIL era and the ability to transfer just because, I don't know, you're in a bad mood and you got mad about something one week, and it seems like that happens all over college football now, you just don't know from year to year if you're going to have a team that you can project, hey, this guy will be back. This guy is going to be really good in 2 years. You just don't know who's going to be here and who's not. And so try to enjoy this and really appreciate what this team is. Was one of the many things that you wrote about, at least in terms of understanding the fluidity of college football these days.
Yeah, and you look at these rivalries, a lot of times through the years, you'd say, for example, when Jimbo got here and like the running game, they start running the ball down Miami's throat, and you look at the talent you have and you look at what they have and you say, okay, well, this is going to be a tough couple of years for the Hurricanes. Like, these guys are just going to get bigger and better and stronger, and your guys are not going to be as good. And there's not a way to change that overnight. Well, now there kind of is ways to change that overnight. We certainly know Miami is going to be a big player in the NIL space. And then on the flip side of it, I think Florida State's going to have something to deal with this offseason that they have never dealt with before. And then I do think they're going to have other schools trying to poach some of their better players, or players that maybe aren't playing a lot right now but have a lot of potential. And so that's going to be a challenge as well. Guys you're convinced are going to be stars next year or the year after. Well, they may end up leaving for greener pastures, and we all know what kind of green that could be. So it's just that is to me the challenge. This rivalry, both of these rivals, Florida State Florida and Florida State Miami, have always been very streak driven. One team kind of gets the best of it for 4, 5, 6, 7 years in a row. The other one takes over. I don't know if we'll see that as much now, because if Florida State beats Florida, they swept their two rivals, those teams are going to go out and make personnel changes. And so that's going to be, it's just going to be, I just don't know if you can count on that success carrying over the way it has in the past.
Suspicion that you have, Ira, that you revealed in the column, is that Florida State's going to come out and play well Friday because you think there is unfinished business and they have been locked in and focused towards this end all season long. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I was really, I thought that before, but I was really impressed with the way the guys talked after the game Saturday night, Norvell included, but especially the players. Like, they're just, it just seems like this team is, going back to Syracuse, it was the same way. They're not as impressed, I think, with themselves as we are.
Right.
And so I think that Florida game, man, if Florida State had won that game last year, I'm sure they would be focused and motivated, but that game was embarrassing. Florida State, they thought they had changed in terms of how they approached football, and they reverted. They just played sloppy. They got emotional. They didn't handle it. Then you saw them handle it so much better against Miami, and I think that was kind of reflecting on that Florida game. Well, now's a real chance to do it, because you're playing that Florida team again, and that Florida team apparently is just as undisciplined as they were last year. Tons of personal fouls, tons of penalties, and Florida State needs to go out there and prove to them we're not going to fall into that trap, because they didn't against Miami. They rose above it,
right,
and played better and cleaner. This is an opportunity to do that, and I think that's a subplot that is going to drive them to really play a good game. I'll be very surprised if Florida State's not very sharp in this game.
couple more things. How did they look at practice today? I know you were there. What was the mood like? And then secondly, and I can report this because I saw it, Bless Harris was on the practice footage that we had on Warchant. That's a huge development. I don't know if they plan on playing him, but I saw him. I know my eyes did not deceive me. I saw him with the pads on and everything. So I guess, could you speak to that as well?
Yeah, he's we've seen him kind of doing more and more kind of in his rehab. I don't know that they're going to try to get him in a game or not, but he's definitely gotten better and better in his rehab. And like you said, today he was dressed out, and I think that was the first time we've seen him do that. So I think he's making progress. Maybe he could play in a bowl game. I'm not 100% sure on the medical redshirt rules, and like it might depend if you've redshirted before, whether or not, because the 4 games thing
right
is if you've never redshirted. If it's a medical, I'm not sure if he could come back late in the year and still get his medical. I'd have to look that up. I can't recall, but it's definitely a great sign either way. Going into the off season, the winter conditioning program, and then in the spring he would have a full off season, so that would be really positive. I actually had to bail a little bit early on practice today because I had a family thing going on. Nothing bad, just I had to take care of something.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was there, I thought looked very business as usual and good spirits, and I thought everybody that you want to see there was pretty much there. That's we can't talk too much about specific injuries and things like that, but for the most part, everybody you wanted to see was there and playing. And again, man, you just got to get these next few practices and be full health for that Florida game, because I just think that game is going to color everything about this season. It's unfortunate because it's been a wonderful ride and it's amazing what they've accomplished. But if you don't finish the deal in this game, I think it's going to put a tint on some of the excitement that everybody's felt during the season.
Well, I can't let you go without noting that several people in the chat are lobbying for you to drink 1 beer in that funnel for every 10 points Florida State scores. So I don't know.
That could get dicey, man. I've seen Florida's defense.
You don't think they're going to drop 50 on them, do you? I mean, that'd be 5 beers.
40-something.
Well,
hey, it's under consideration. I'm not shooting it down.
All right. Well,
I'm not putting a cap. It's under consideration.
You know what I like?
A long funnel.
What I like about this with Ira is it lets you know that there was a young Ira at some point who fancied himself a funnel master, because my man doesn't even shirk any sort of like a number. You could be like 7. Well, maybe I'll do 7. So clearly he has ventured down that road before and showed him the prowess. Brother, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Be well.
Thanks, man. See you guys.
Yeah, take care. IrishFellWarchant.com. He doesn't even bat an eyelash. It's just sort of 4, 5. I guess it's on the table. Like, goodness gracious.
Well, when I saw him do that shot on Smash, that thing was a no joker.
He
was
probably
impressive.
woke up the next day with a headache. That shot was so big.
I mean, I didn't see it until when we were doing the show
Yeah,
the
I was
next
laughing
day,
about it.
and
It was
Matthew
so
said,
good.
"You got to see this," and you said, "You got to see
It was
this."
like that big.
That caught my attention.
It was a shot.
That's like when
It
you
was
see
a man shot
that
right
is
there.
when a college coach sees some high school film and he goes, "Ooh, look at that kid."
That was not Mio and water. That was a man shot right there. That's what that was.
That's another shot of a different kind.
I'm just teasing. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio. Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Taylor County's new wilderness search and rescue team has just been certified by the National Association for Search and Rescue. The 5-person team has completed 60 hours of training and will now help local agencies conduct searches as needed under the authority of Taylor County Sheriff's Office. The Tallahassee Police Department is investigating a traffic incident involving a pedestrian. A collision between a vehicle and a pedestrian occurred at 7:30 p.m. Thursday near the intersection of Pensacola Street and Mabry Street. The police department confirmed the pedestrian, an adult female, died from injuries sustained from the incident. And in Gadsden County, a male pedestrian was struck and killed the same night after an incident with a pickup truck on U.S. Highway 90 at Woodbury Road. The pedestrian, who was a 26-year-old man from Gretna, allegedly was standing in the right lane when the pickup truck struck the pedestrian. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Mainly cloudy skies this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 64. Northeast winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Overcast tonight, 52. Chance for scattered rain showers tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 67. Cloudy. Chance for scattered rain showers Wednesday with highs in the low 70s. Partly cloudy Thursday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 69.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF. Your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Jeff, look at this beautiful day, man.
Yeah, it's getting a little chilly. I like it. You know, I'm a colder weather guy, but I worry about it for you because you can't wear the Speedo in the cold. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to wear a Speedo in the cold.
Jeff, it's always Speedo weather, man. We can always do this. Besides, my pool, it's heated.
Which means you're insufferable in a Speedo year-round?
Cannonball!
Still gross. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Hey, Greg Tish here along with
Matty Rowe.
And you can listen to us Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Real Talk 93.3. Matt, we give away a couple things each week.
Just a few.
We got the Florida Farm Bureau Insurance Wheel of Food. We have Give Me a Second, where we play a second of a song and you guess that song. And we also play FLA or Nay. We have a lot of fun Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. on
The Greg Tish Show.
Think that's enough?
We can talk about our feelings.
That's a lot.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cam Show brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Now, the thing is, there's the matter of winning the game, and that needs to happen as well. Obviously, we gotta win the game, and I like that he's got a very good feel for this game.
He sounds like you did on Miami week, and me.
The thing with Miami was that, you know, when you started looking at I guess their games, just looking at their games and where it was trending and the personnel and like, I don't know, the more I did it, the more I was kind of like, ooh, they're not any good at all. And it became a lot easier to say it. You had to get over the hump because of the U on the side of the helmet, and what you're accustomed to seeing is at least some athleticism, but there wasn't a lot, and they didn't block it up, and they dropped a lot of passes, and obviously that offense, Van Dyke didn't take to that offense even when he was in there. There was just a lot of stuff that you didn't like. And so I kind of thought, well, goodness gracious, I'm not so sure that they have a chance to compete against us. I don't say that when I look at Florida. When I watch Florida, like you just did, and that you'll be doing again today when you finish your column, I see some fight in there. I see that there's some ability in there. They're not a great team, and they obviously look at their record and look who they've lost to. They are capable of really playing poor football, but they can occasionally play pretty damn good football.
Yeah, with Miami, I watch those games and I think to myself, what the hell are they trying to be?
Right,
like,
right.
What are they going for here?
They looked like a team completely in transition that had nothing that they could fall back on, whose players didn't believe in the new system, and whose talents weren't very elite, and you had all of it.
Even when we were terrible, 2 years ago,
what they were trying to
and
be,
we were bad last year, you say, all right, I see what they're going for. With Florida, I certainly do see what Napier wants.
He wants to run the ball.
He wants to be physical.
Very physical. Well, listen, I think he's going to do fine there long term. I do. But this ain't the team right now. And it's interesting. You and I were talking during the break a couple breaks ago about if you're Anthony Richardson, I don't know that
you ought not come back next year. I think you ought to go take it to the NFL.
He should. He's a project pick, so he's going to be a day 3 guy probably, unless the combine is just that freaky. But if I'm a franchise and if I'm even a Bucs fan.
Well, yeah, if you can get a kid in the 3rd round with that ability, and then know you don't have to play him for 2 or 3 years, then I would
take a chance.
I would do that, and I'd mold him.
Little to no money. You know what I mean? There's no risk, but there is a huge reward if it works out because he's got some. I don't want to say the actual quarterback I could compare him to because the guy's way too good, and he plays for the Buffalo Bills. So
Josh Allen, but he's big and strong like Josh Allen.
He's as tough to bring down as that dude is. He's as tough to bring down.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
He is huge, and the arm action. He doesn't need to clean this up. It's clean.
Yeah.
But he doesn't see the field.
No.
He misses wide open reads,
dude,
which is interesting.
Whenever you get a kid that has certain things that are preternaturally good, like you look at a guy and you're like, oh, well, you can't teach that. Well, that's what the Bills did with Josh Allen, right? Nope. I mean, his numbers weren't great in college in terms of accuracy. And so when you looked at him, you're like, well, man, if you're not accurate there at that level, then why should we take you? Well, the reason we should take you is you are a giant who can really run and has a cannon for an arm, and you're willing to work. All you got to find out at that point are you willing to work? That's where the comparisons, and they're not the same player at all.
No.
But don't get me wrong. But Jalen Hurts. So when you take Jalen Hurts, it isn't because you think he's going to step right into an NFL locker room and be a starter who's polished. You saw enough problems with him as in college to know he's not ready-made. But he is going to work really hard, and he's got a freakishly thick body, so he's not going to get hurt. We've got time. We can mold him. And so you take the chance. I mean, you don't, like you said, it's no longer as penal as it once was to draft a quarterback and give him, that first-round money. And in this case, you wouldn't be doing that. You wouldn't be giving him anything close to first-round money. Big, strong kid.
And that's when you have somebody like that, that's why there is always a caveat of, well, if this guy's going to play out of his mind, then you've got yourself a football game. But the thing that I was shocked to see in watching more closely, because, for example, that Tennessee game, we were doing the pregame show in the formative moments, and we heard the crowd reacting to what was happening. But by the time we were done and the breakdown was over from Indigo, I remember standing with Aslan watching the onside kick at the end of the game. That's the only time I really got to see what was happening. Far too late. And it seemed like Tennessee had choked away a big lead and that they had owned the football field that day. They really didn't. They won in some situations. Florida was there toe-to-toe. But what was stunning to me was they didn't run the ball well on Tennessee. The Gators did not run the ball that well against Tennessee's front. And then I saw it against Georgia. And this is where Pro Football Focus sometimes is just dead wrong. One of their highest run blocking grades of the season was against Georgia. And I thought, oh, well, I got to go see why.
Yeah.
I can't find it.
You can't find it.
I can't find it. They went 3 and out the whole first half.
I have a lot of issues with PFF. There are some things that you can really learn from PFF, so it's not invaluable, but I have a lot of issues with PFF.
If you break an 80-yard run late in the game, it's going to weigh it as though it was early in garbage time. They're going to give it the same weight that they would have play in the first quarter, which is dumb. But I'm just seeing consistently they've got issues running between the tackles, and that's what they want to do. They're going to hit their head against the wall. And with Fabian back, as long as the linebackers and the rotation is what it needs to be on the weekend, we're in position here to put them in second and long the whole day.
While we're talking, I want to thank my friends at Tallulah. There's one now right over there by Thomasville, Georgia, if you're in that area. And the new Kava Bar is open in Bannerman Crossings. That's their second location in Bannerman Crossing. Lots of kava. Kratom drinks as well. They're tasty. You feel good. Not hallucinogen good, but just good. Like, yeah, all right. That's kind of euphoria. They've got the Midtown location in Soto, where the old Soto was. Huge selection of mushrooms, vape selections as well, and CBD for pets.
You could make them a side dish on Thanksgiving.
You could. I got mushrooms this weekend.
Uncle Jeff's mushrooms.
I got mushrooms this weekend stuffed with crab.
Oh, okay.
And I've got that, and then I've got another set of mushrooms stuffed with cheese, Tom.
What is going to be your signature dish? Did you get this for the purposes of Thursday, or this is what you just enjoyed
make
yourself?
It tonight. I don't know. Yeah, no. I just saw them and I thought these are going to be good.
Is there because you like to cook, you enjoy that?
I do.
It gives you joy.
I cooked a lot this weekend. I had the big old. Well, this weekend I used the Pitmaster, the big old pellet grill, and I got after it. I cooked skirt steak. I cooked salmon. I cooked, probably 300 shrimp. I cooked chicken, and I cooked some pecan encrusted tilapia,
All right.
and it was also really good.
With a nice demi glaze.
It was delicious.
Yeah.
It was really good, and I also had asparagus and some other stuff in there.
Well, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
Now, what is going to be the signature
Turkey,
dish?
a big ass turkey.
Okay.
Yeah, fried.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, that's what that. Well, and then probably smoked salmon. I always get the smoked salmon.
Mm-hmm. I thought you weren't a huge turkey guy.
I don't mind turkey.
Okay. All right.
I don't mind turkey. I don't sit around dreaming of turkey, but I don't mind it. I really like smoked salmon. So for me, I'll get after big ass fillet of smoked salmon.
How early did you have to get the order in for that turkey? You put it in weeks ago?
Last week.
Oh, you made it?
I made it just in time.
Okay.
By the way, I will tell you that I was worried this year. They had that turkey killing flu that was going around, like all these.
I had no idea.
Shortage of turkey, Tom. Like if you go to Costco to get they were running out of turkees, and
I'm skeptical. I think they did it. I think there was turkey side by these companies so they could drive the prices up. That's what I think.
Nonetheless, I was worried, but there are turkeys everywhere now. They must have come out the flu on the other side. They're doing all right.
Like Tallahassee.
Ooh, okay, we're all right here. We're all right. You can get plenty of turkeys now, so I'm not really worried about it. But smoked salmon, some CBD.
You doing a Cat 5 ruling?
No.
Oh.
I'm going to make a decision by Wednesday.
Wow.
I'm sorry, everybody. I will not be forced to make a decision before it's time. I'm having a hard time getting a feel. So I'm going to push it to Wednesday.
It's like Baylor's upset bid. It's just a tease.
Good work out of you. Good work, Director Matthew. Be well, everybody. Have a great night, and I will see you guys tomorrow.